Everybody, hey dolls. I'm just, of course, getting myself together here, making sure everything is set. I hope you guys are ready for this live stream because it is going to be a good one. We are going to talk about why you shouldn't rush things. And this is something that's been on my mind for a while. So I definitely want to talk about it. I shouldn't say for a while, but recently it's been on my mind. So I definitely want to talk about it because I feel like it's worth talking about. So we are going to go ahead and dive on in because I know people watching the replay don't want to wait forever. But while I'm pulling up my notes and stuff, I do want to just say welcome again. If this is your first time catching the live stream, live or the replay or anything like that, I'm glad that you're here. And I hope that you join me. Usually I do uploads. I honestly have not I have not uploaded a video. Actually, no, I did a collab in July, I think. That was the last time I uploaded a video. Other than that, I've been doing live streams. And it's been crazy. Like, it's been a really crazy summer. So that's why I've just been going live. And to be honest, I really like going live because it's like so much easier. You just go live. You know, you don't have to edit anything. You just put your caption and description and whatnot, and you're good to go. So, but I will be uploading uploads. I'm gonna start back this month because there are things I want to talk about, and I feel they're better for video versus the live stream. But I'm glad that you're here, whether you're new, old, whatever. I'm glad that you're here. Also, announcements before we dive into today's topic. We have been at a standstill with subscribers, y'all. Subscribe. A lot of you guys watch, but most of my viewers are not subscribers, and that's normal as a YouTuber. So if you're thinking about getting into YouTube, just know that that's normal. But hit that subscribe button. I'm literally 149 people away. Well, it fluctuates between 149 and 150 away from 1,000. So once I hit 1K subscribers, I'll be monetized. What does that mean for you? That means I'll be able to produce more content. I'll be able to really go hard in the paint because I'll be getting compensated, and I wouldn't have to like work on so many other things within a day just to make sure that I'm keeping up with whatever I got to keep up with. Hey, Shay. So me getting monetized for you, that means more content, more, just fun stuff. I'm really going to start amping it up. So subscribe, share. But other than that, we are going to go ahead and dive into today's topic. And as you come in, please remember to like the video as well. If you're watching the replay, please like the video and comment down below as well. So today we're talking about why you should not rush things. Like I said, this is something that's been heavy on my mind and in my spirit recently. I really feel like God has just been telling me to slow down, and he's shown me in different ways by sitting me down in various ways, but also just from hearing that repetitive message from other places where it's like, slow down, don't rush into it. Give it time to marinate, use discernment, things like that. So today I'm going to be mostly talking about, I would say it's probably going to be more relative to relationships, but honestly, this is for anything, whether it's a business, I would say relationships and business, but it can be relative to anything, to be honest. You'll know if this message is for you, you'll know exactly what, what it applies to. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. But, I would say God slowed me up in August. Like, this summer has been crazy. Now that Labor Day has passed, I feel like we're really transitioning into fall now. Fall activities, fall weather, even though down here is still pretty warm, but nevertheless, we're transitioning. And so, August came, and it's like so many things that I thought I was over reoccurred, or so many things that I thought, okay, I'm just going to keep at this pace, and this is a good pace, I'm doing good. God like brought it to a screeching halt. And so one thing that I felt God telling me in my quiet time is, you need to slow down. And God, he knows I'm stubborn. So sometimes he got to sit me down. Okay. And something major happened in August that forced me to sit down. And I have been feeling in my spirit for a while that it was time for me to like take a break, but I'm going to push myself. That's just how I am. I'm going to push myself because there's always a never ending to-do list of things to do. But God was like, no, like, I need you to sit down. So he sat me down. And just looking back over my business, for instance, and particularly relationships, anytime I rushed into something, it had a terrible negative effect because of me rushing. And I have some stories I'm going to share as I share the points or whatever. But you might be tempted to rush due to your own desires and timelines, because let's face it, we live in a society where it's like you got to get certain things done by a certain time frame to be considered successful, to be considered on track, to feel like you're actually doing something or serving a purpose. And we can allow our own timelines to get in the way of what God wants us to do in that season, because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or we're just really living out of flesh and not like, God, what do you want me to do? So the consequences could be really bad when you rush. And that's why I'm like, you got to slow down. And for me, like I said, anybody like me who is like a grab the bull by the horns type of person, you're a go-getter, you might not be that patient, okay? Like, we working on it, okay? It's easy to want to rush into things and just knock it off the to-do list or knock it off your goals and move on to the next thing. But it really can be detrimental. So I want to share, I think I have like 4 points, and then I'll be out of you guys' hair. But the first point that I have is you don't have to rush what God has for you. And so while God can do things for you in a quick manner, not everything has to take years and years and hard lessons and hard knocks and all that. You don't have to rush it. There's not, like, when God does things, and when I look back over my life, anything that felt rushed wasn't really what God wanted me to do. Like, there can be an excitement there can be an anticipation, but a rush, like I'm running out of time, like I gotta hurry up and get this done, I don't have time to sit and think about it type of thing, I just gotta go. Like, that is not of God. That's flesh. That's you wanting to get something done. And like I said, God can move quickly, don't get me wrong, and nothing catches him by surprise. So even in our rushing, even with us going against his timing, he's not surprised. He's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're rushing right now. Like, he understands, and he already knows where it's going to get us, or the end, or whatever, how he's going to intercede. But ultimately, you want to have time to let things happen. You want to have time to understand the significance of God's timing. Like, why aren't things working out in this time frame that I thought it would work out in? Why am I forcing the issue? Why am I at a standstill? Like, you want to kind of sit back, take a breath, and like really think about that, and allow God to like move on your heart and reveal why it might not be your season right now to reap the harvest, or it might not be your season to start something new. It might be your season of sit down. It might be the season for you to sit down and relax. Also, in terms of relationships, if you find somebody is like rushing you, then you have to stop and ask yourself why. Because I can understand, again, an excitement to get into a new relationship, an excitement to get into, and when I say relationship, it doesn't necessarily only have to be romantic, because I have instances of like business relationships where it seemed rushed, where it's like this person just came out of nowhere, and it's like they're forcing themselves into spaces and places in my life where it's like, why are you so eager to form a friendship? In that, like, it's weird to describe, but it's like there's a thin line between like a healthy anticipation for new relationships, whether platonic or romantic, and like forcing it and rushing it before the cat is out of the bag, or before like, somebody might realize, hey, I really don't care for this person, or whatever the case may be, And so if someone's rushing you, stop, breathe, ask yourself, why does this feel rushed? Like, that's not a good feeling. I know there's been many instances where I felt rushed into relationships, business, friendships, romantic as well. And I don't like feeling like someone's at my neck, like rushing me to get there, rushing me to get on their same page. Like, if somebody really cares about you and really cares about having a long-term relationship with you, they're going to respect your timing. They're going to respect the fact that, like, I need to process this. I need to make sure I get to know you, because no matter how you slice it or dice it, whether it's your business, whether it's your heart, it can have really, really bad consequences. If you rush into something and it ends up being a hot mess of a relationship, it can really have bad consequences. So you really want to have time to think. You want to have time to discern. Discernment can't be rushed. You got to have time to actually see this thing. It's like observing the fruits of the spirit in somebody. Like, granted, there are things that you can see just like out the gate, but to really get a feel for someone, you're going to have to like get to know them. You're going to have to walk that thing out. You're going to have to really observe over a period of time. Like, okay, this person, I could vouch that they're maturing, that they're growing, that, you can't really tell just off of a chance meeting or something really rushed. Point number 2 is rushing things along, especially in relationships. Like I said, it doesn't leave room for discernment. So the reason why you want to pace this out, and I was talking with, yes, discernment cannot be rushed. I was talking with my friend Michelle. Y'all probably seen her on here as Minimalist Candle Company. I think that's her YouTube, or could be her actual name. Either way, we were texting the other day, and I was telling her, like, you gotta walk that relationship out. You know, if you feel like, because we were talking about dating and stuff, and as you guys know, I'm talking to someone right now and whatnot, and so we just got on the topic overall, and I was like, anytime I rushed into a relationship, I felt like, one, I definitely was not praying and asking God to show me anything. And, you know, a lot of times I say, like, oh, I have a peace about it and stuff, but it's like, you really didn't seek God on that thing. Like, let's just be honest. You really didn't seek God. You really didn't sit and discern. And you might have seen the red flags, but because you wanted it so bad, you went right past them, and you were like, I'm gonna just go ahead and do this because I want it. It's my time, and I'm tired of waiting. And then what ends up happening is you get into a bad situation, and now you're losing sleep, you're stressed out, you're losing weight, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're all these things, because it's like you didn't allow yourself to really discern. Even if you saw it, you suppressed it because you really wanted it, and you wanted it in that time frame, instead of saying, like, you know what, let me give this person time to show their true character. Because one thing about it, especially when you're dating, which now that we're heading into fall, I'm going to be doing more dating, singleness, all that good stuff type of videos. I have some really exciting topics that I want to cover. I like to do it in the fall because that's the time of year that people are like trying to get a boo, and, you know, cuffing season is real right now. People, it's tryout. So if you get a hey big head text, if you get a hey stranger text, just know that they're trying to get them a boo for this time of year, because they're like, look, I don't want to spend these long fall and winter nights by myself. So stay woke, okay? Stay woke. If they're texting you and calling you, and you haven't heard from them in a while. Whenever I rushed into anything, it was a hot mess. Okay, that part. But it's like, you got to give people a chance to show their true character, because they're always gonna let their true character show. They're like, people cannot put up the facade forever. It's gonna show. But when you rush in, you're getting, it's like Little Red Riding Hood in a way, you know, like how she went to Granny's house and the wolf was dressed like Granny, and she's like, my, what big teeth you have, what big ears you have, like the signs are right there, but she's like, okay, whatever, it's Granny. And she just believing it, almost lost her life. Okay, almost got eaten out here because she was just going with the flow. She wasn't using discernment. She wasn't saying, you know what, this ain't Granny, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Like, you know, she just is like going closer and closer and deeper into the house, until it's like you nearly lost yourself and your life in the process. But, you know, like I said, people can't keep up the facade forever. And so I have 2 examples of this, actually. So the one is like in dating. I can think of numerous times, because I've done a lot of dating in my life, y'all, just casual dating, not actual serious relationships. I've had a handful of those. But every time I think of like a guy that came in my life and literally tried to sweep me off my feet and rush me in a relationship and stuff, literally within a month, maybe 2 months, his whole energy changed. Like, just this year, I could think of like 2 guys that rushed in like bats out of hell, came in, oh my gosh, like, you know, you're a wife, you're this, you're that, I want to be with you, like, let's do it. You know, you should just give me a chance. You shouldn't even focus on the other dudes or anything or anybody else. Like, let's go. And just talking a good game, saying everything you want to hear, all the right things. Like, they just are so ready. They're so centered. They're so grounded. They're so mature. And because I was like, okay, chill out. Like, you know, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in talking and getting to know you better, but I want to take my time. I'm not rushing into anything, especially because it's not just me. Like, as a mom, which I'm going to have a video about that this fall too, about dating specifically as a single mom, a Christian single mom. But, you know, especially as a mom, I have to be careful. I can't just be rushing into stuff. And like, there's a lot to consider. And especially if they have kids too, it's like, there's a lot to fold in here. There's a lot to blend. There's a lot to consider and a lot to work through. And I can tell you right now that after about 2-3 weeks of them saying all the right things, calling, texting, doing all the stuff, like really trying to fight the good fight, fight, because let's be honest, it's a competitive edge there as well, where it's like, I want to be the last man standing, I want to win, and I want to be chose. After 2-3 weeks, they fell off hard. Like, where's the text, where are the calls, where are all the things that you said that you were ready to do? Like, I see no evidence of that now. Like, what's going on? What's good? What happened? And it's crazy, because it's like, if I had gotten into those relationships, who knows how they would have been after the fact. Like, once they actually got what they wanted, they probably would have pulled a whole 180, and I would have been looking like broke, busted, and disgusted, completely confused as to what happened. And you have to walk people out. You really, like, walk them out. Slow down. Make sure that what they're saying is matching up with their actions, because talk is very cheap. A lot of people talk, but your actions are going to show, and only time can tell that. You got to wear people out, because if you just jump into stuff, you'll be completely bamboozled. Another example is earlier this year, again, really, it was like 1.5. The other one didn't get that escalated, thankfully. But it was like a business transaction or whatever that I was supposed to do. And it was more like a collaboration of sorts or whatever. But this woman came out of nowhere. Like, when I say she came out of nowhere, she came out of nowhere. And this happens a lot, especially on Instagram. People find you on hashtags and whatnot. And I don't mind people reaching out to me. I don't mind making new friendships. Heck, like, all my YouTube friends I met through hashtags or like collabs or whatever. So I'm not opposed to people sliding in my DMs. But what I don't like is when I feel that pressure, like, you're right at my neck. Like, we gotta connect, because we're, and this is the energy that this person had. It was like, we're both Christian entrepreneurs. We're both coaching out here. We gotta partner. Like, you're not even giving me the option to say no. You're just right at my neck. Like, I can't even breathe. And so I really learned a lot of hard lessons with this. And this is why I'm in a season right now where I'm like, I'm not really taking any new collabs, because it more likely than not, a lot of times, especially in business, it has turned out to be a headache. Like, where I'm just like, I should have paced this out and really seen what this person is about, as well as praying on it and stuff like that. But because I'm always one of those people that's like, let's collab. I really have a heart for the underdog. I really like to help people build their brands and things like that. A lot of times I would get into collaborations and agreements and what's the word I'm looking for? And I guess you could say responsibilities or commitments. There we go. I don't know why I was struggling to find that word. I will get into commitments and then later on highly regret it and be stressed out. But needless to say, she finds me on Instagram through the hashtag. She's like, we got to collab. We got to do this. She'll be great for da-da-da. So I'm like, okay, cool. We could do that. I'm thinking it's just going to be like a one and done type thing. And we just keep it moving. And slowly but surely, it was like asking more, wanting more commitment, wanting more, collaboration, wanting more out of me. And I'm like, I don't like to feel like I'm being pressured into something. So long story short, it ended up being a very dramatic thing, because she basically had asked me to do something. I told her I'm going to confirm later on. Like, I didn't give her a definite yes. It was like a tentative, like, I might be able to, but let me know. Let me let you know, because I'm supposed to be traveling around this time. And it ended up being a whole hot mess, because she put me on the event flyer, and I came back literally that same day, dog tired, because I didn't even sleep that night before, and I wasn't even feeling like myself. I was like, nah, I can't do it. And then it ended up being like a whole, like, oh, you made a commitment to do this and that. And I was like, I didn't make a commitment to do anything. I told you tentatively, like, that's what that word means, maybe. Like, it was a whole hot mess. But needless to say, her true character was shown, because it was like, you owe me type of thing. And also she tried to turn around and rectify it. But it was like, once I saw her character, I already knew I didn't want her to rectify it in the way she wanted to, because I'm like, you're the type that you would hold that over my head in the future. Like, I did this for you. I did that for you. I don't need that. Like, I'm good, and you're not going to manipulate me based on my faith or based on the fact that we're in the same niche or whatever. But had I paced it out, had I been like, you know what, maybe we could collab down the road or something like that. But right now, let's just stay in touch with each other or whatever, I'm pretty sure I would have seen her character. And that's why you have to pace people out, slow them down, like maintain control, set your boundaries, and stand on your square and be like, nah, like I'm not, not right now, maybe in the future. But we also, and this is on a side note, we also have to give people the room to say no, because a lot of times when we ask people to do stuff, we're already expecting a yes. And so when they say no, you get offended, or, if they cancel or whatever, you get mad. And it's like, life happens. People change their mind, obligations change, availability changes, whatever the case may be. But not rushing and taking that time to slow down and use discernment, you will see it, because the wolf can't hide forever. Matter of fact, you probably gonna see the signs out the gate. It's just like I said, like Little Red Riding Hood. She saw the teeth, she saw the ears, she saw the eyes, she saw all of that. No matter how the wolf tried to hide it. It's just like you could put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Like, you're gonna see the signs. Like, you just have to be aware, slow down and take a breath, and don't be so eager for stuff to go how you want it to go in your time frame. And that's something I had to learn too, because honestly, like, my time frames and things like that, I used to be really stringent about it, but as I've gotten older, it's like I make my plans in a flexible way. Hold on real quick, y'all. Hold on real quick. Sorry, y'all. I had to handle the child and the family situation real quick. But anywho, I can't even remember where I was at. Either way, take time, because that person's character is going to show if you slow things down, and you're going to see their true motives. You're going to see what they're really about. You're going to be able to notice those red flags if you just take your time. The third point I have is allow time to decipher how this person is supposed to fit in your life. So again, bringing it back to like the business fiasco that I had a couple months ago, if I had taken time to discern how this person might be meant to fit in my life, I would have avoided all that drama and stress, because it's like, not everybody that you meet is meant to be in your life how you think they're meant to be in your life. So maybe they're just meant to be in your life for maybe just one collab if it's a business type thing, or maybe they're just meant to be in your life because down the road you guys might need to do something together. Or if it's a dating situation, maybe you guys are just meant to be friends, or maybe they're just to come in your life to teach you something and to make you wiser in a way, and things of that nature. So you just never really know. But if you rush it, you're not going to take that time, because you can end up putting someone who's meant to be in spot A and spot B, thinking like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. But it's like, this person was just meant to be a friend for literally fall of 2020. like that was it. They were meant to get you through fall of 2020, and now you're trying to bring them into fall of 2021, and you're wondering why there's dysfunction. You're wondering why you're not on one accord. You're wondering why you're kind of just not vibing, like the vibe is off and all sorts of stuff, because it's like, it's time for you to to shift. It's time for them to be in their rightful place. But because you want it to be what it is, or like I said, you're rushing, and this happens a lot, particularly in dating relationships. We want to be with somebody, and so we rush it, and we're like, oh, this person looks great, and this and that. And this is not to say that you have to take a super long time either, because I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you got to talk for 6 months, and then you got to date for 1.5 years, and then you got to be engaged for 2 years. Like, I'm not really hell bent on the time stamp, the numerical time, as much as I am on like making sure that you're moving in God's time and you're moving at a place of pace of peace. And it's not like this anxiety ridden rush, like, because you'll feel it. Like, I know for a fact there have been relationships that I was getting into where I just did not feel like it was where I was supposed to be. Like, no matter how nice that guy was talking, no matter how nice he seemed, no matter how thoughtful he seemed, no matter how things just seem like, okay, why wouldn't you? I just did not have a sense of peace. And it didn't make sense as to why. But then later on, I found out like something about them, or I saw them in a scenario or whatever. And I'm like, wow, thank goodness that wasn't me in that scenario with them, you know? But you have to figure out where they fit in your life. Like Redefine TV, they have 4 different categories. I can't remember the categories, but it's like it's something to the effect of like you have projects, you got leeches, you got destiny, or it's something like that. But if you watch Redefine TV, you probably heard of the buckets or the categories. But it's like you don't want to mistake like a project for a partner, like those kind of things, you know, because that might just be someone who you're just meant to come alongside and just impart wisdom on and encourage them or whatever. But now you're in the dynamic of a relationship, and now you're falling in love, or you're in love. Now you done spent money, time, your heart is on the line, you know, and you're going to end up staying longer because you're like, oh man, I've invested so much, I don't want to leave. And it's like, nah, that person was literally just meant to get you through that week or that month or whatever. And like I said earlier, people talk a good game. So you have to allow them time to show who they really are, and allow time for God to show you where he wants that person to be in your life. Because this is another example. There was this guy I met earlier this year. And for all intents and purposes, there really is no reason why we shouldn't be together even right now. But it really just was like revealed. And we talked the other day. We don't talk as much anymore, obviously. But, you know, we talked the other day, and we were just like, yeah, like we're just meant to be friends. And so not everybody's meant to be how you think they're meant to be. But it also goes back to that sentiment. I think it was one of my recent live streams. I think it might have been my Q&A, where it was like, every guy ain't gonna be a husband. You know, some guys are really just a friend. Some guys are there to teach you what you like. There have been, every one of the guys I've dated have taught me something that I want in a relationship, and they've also taught me things I don't want. You know, so it's like, when you allow the flexibility for things to change, for things to shift, then you allow God to speak and to reveal to you how he wants you to interact with that person. But if you're rushing it, you're really saying, no, God, I'm in control. Like this is going to happen. Come hell or high water, this is going to happen the way I want it to. But it's like, let God have his way. Let him be in control. And my last point, this is going to be a short live today, y'all, because I got so much to do today. But my last point is rushing breeds anxiety. So God does not give us a spirit of anxiety. If you're feeling anxiety, fear, all those kind of things, that's not of God. Right then and there, you know that's not of God, because you can't move in things of the spirit and be anxious. Because anxiety is like, I can't even describe it, because I'm speaking from experience. I battle with anxiety, so it's very real out here for me. And that's why I don't like to be rushed either. Even just not even just for dating or whatever, but even on like vacations or trips or anything. I don't like that feeling of being rushed, because it gets me anxious, and I feel like, you know, my heart's beating fast. I'm forgetting stuff. I'm all over the place emotionally or whatnot. I'm very like zened out for that reason. I'm like, I really gotta be like chill, because I don't want my anxiety to get the best of me. But you can develop anxiety around an outcome, a person, or a situation overall. So if you feel like you barely are ready, if you feel like I barely know this person, you know, I don't know what they're about, I don't know what they're really looking for, like they're saying one thing but I don't feel a peace about it, something's just off, that's a telltale sign that, yeah, you're definitely rushing it, and anxiety is definitely getting the best of you or leading you in that. You never want to make a big commitment and rush into it. Like, and relationships are included in that. Of any kind, friendship, like I said, business relationships, dating, whatever. You never want to rush into it, because it's a huge commitment. Like friendships and any relationship you have, any nature relationship you have in your life can really take a toll on you as a person. They influence you, they affect how you think, how you act, what you do. And hopefully you're being the better influence, hopefully, prayerfully, but none of us are perfect. But I'm just saying, like, that's one thing that thankfully I could say right now, no one has told me that I'm a bad influence. Typically, when people are in my life, they're like, you inspire me and motivate me to do better. And that's the kind of energy that you want to have, But I also am one of those people that believes in very organic relationships. I don't like manufactured stuff. So again, bringing it back to like that woman that felt like, oh, we're both Christian coaches, we need to be friends. We really don't. Like, we really don't need to. Just because we both share the same faith, just because we're both in the same niche, we really don't have to be friends for real, for real. We're colleagues. Like, it's like people that force work friendships. I was never that type. I never really had for real friends at work. I maybe had like 2 or 3 that transcended into true friendships. And only one of those is left standing. The rest of them, they fell apart. I'm like, I'm here for a job. I'm not really here to socialize and to make a ton of friends and stuff. And, I worked in the government, so it was a different ball game. Maybe if you work in a place that you really love and you feel like it's a part of your purpose or something, maybe things will be different for you. But for me, I worked in the federal government for several years, and I'm like, I'm here for a job, and that's that. And I'm doing my job, and I'm going home. I'm really not here for the extra stuff. It feels very forced, or even like, a lot of times in church, people try to form friendships, but it just feels very forced and fake. And it's like, it wasn't long lasting, because say you leave that church, they're not talking to you anymore. It's like, so because I'm not sitting in the same pew as you, you can't keep in touch. You can't still talk to me. So thankfully, I've made good church friendships along the years, and I still talk to some of them even now that I'm hundreds of miles away from, my hometown or whatever. But it definitely shows. It's like you really just were manufacturing this. And that's what rushing does. It's like you're manufacturing it. You feel like, I got to have a church friend, so let me go ahead and charge for and force this friendship type of thing. It's going to take effort. Don't get me wrong. It's going to take effort, but it shouldn't be forced. I can't stand those work relationships. Me neither. Work relationships are like, because at the end of the day, I just don't trust it. I'm like, at the end of the day, if you have the opportunity, you're probably going to throw me under the bus to get a promotion, or you're probably going to do whatever you can, because we're colleagues. Like, I'm low key the competition in a way, especially if we're in the same position. Like, you're low key going to want to, get ahead. And if that means you got to step on my neck in the process, then you're going to do it. I done lived through that, y'all. I'm going to have to share some more story times. But those are all the points that I had. So hopefully this wasn't me rambling. Hopefully you got something out of it. But it was just something that was on my mind. And I didn't want to tape and edit a video. So I was just going to go live. But, hopefully you got something out of it. But the main thing I want you to remember is that in this season, particularly, like I said, I've been feeling God telling me, slow down. Like, and in conversations I've had and stuff, other people have said they've been getting that same revelation from God and the Holy Spirit. It's just like, slow down. Whatever you're rushing, whatever area in your life that you feel like you're rushing, you're forcing, you're really trying to push it forth, just take a breath, step back, take your hands off of it, and move on. Yes, the fake banter and nosy questions is just like, I can't. And there's so much like bureaucracy in the government and stuff. It's just like, come on now, we all competing for the same position. We're all trying to get up to the top. So I don't miss it. The only thing I miss about that was like the pay increase every year, because you were either going to get a step increase or a grade increase if you are on a career ladder position, and the cost of living adjustment and the predictable pay. But other than that, I don't really miss it at all. I really don't. So yeah, don't force it. Don't rush it. Don't do any of that. Like, take your time, take your hands off the wheel, because God will sit you down. Like I said, he sat me down in August. It was like, okay, there were some things that I was trying to keep going. And I was rushing to a degree, but I was also forcing the issue. And God was like, nah, like, we just going to go ahead and strip these away so you can calm down and you can sit down. But like I said, that's all I have for this video. So I hope it's helpful for you. Please feel free to share it. And like I said, I will have some uploads, because what I want to talk about, particularly with my dating series and singleness, I just feel like it's better for video. I feel like it's better for a taped, edited video. Thursday's going to be a live. I'm going to attempt to tape a video for next week. I'm going to attempt to. I can't promise, but I'm going to attempt to. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but I'm going to look in my notebook of topics and pick something from there. And also, I apologize for having to pause because it was just doing the most. I almost didn't go live today, but I was like, you know what? I really wanted to share this, so let me just go ahead and share it. But I'm going to let you guys go ahead. Please share this video out. Feel free to replay it. Ask me any questions in the comments. Add your own comments. You know, is there an area in your life where you feel like God's been telling you need to slow down? Is there an area where he's maybe sat you down just like me, where he's like, okay, it's time for you to take a break type thing? Like, let me know in the comments. Let's chit chat under the comments of the video, the replay. So I love y'all. I will see you on Thursday. Thursday's probably going to be the same time, 12 noon. Do you guys like 12 noon? I'm finding it's working for me better in this season. So I still have the rest of my day to do what I got to do. So I think I'm going to stick with 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. But let me know if you like it. If this time works for you or whatnot, I'll just stick with it. And like I said, subscribe. So I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one. And just comment below. Let me know what time works for you or whatever. But yeah, comment under the replay and let me know. Thanks, Leslie. I'm glad you were able to join. I'll see y'all later. Have a good Tuesday. Stay warm, stay dry, stay cool, stay whatever you got to do. And slow down. All right. Love y'all. Bye.